Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Chocolate Beauty 81. I am here to talk about Married to Medicine. It's been so long since I've been talking about them. Oh, and I forgot to plug in my audio. I am so sorry, y'all. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. But welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to get back to my reviews. Even though it's like almost at the end of the season, there's only 2 more episodes left for this crazy season. And I just wanted to come back because I'm like, you know what? It's been a while and I need to get back into the loop of things when it comes to my YouTube channel. So this episode is episode 14, season 8. It's called Scott's Secret. Now, I want to talk about a few things. First of all, now I immediately have not watched this season since probably since episode like 10, maybe 10 or 11. So I've been gone for a long time. It's been a while. It's been a while. So Quad and Amelia meet up. Now, all of a sudden, Amelia got a problem with Toya. Is anybody surprised about the fallout? Hello, hi Latanya Raleigh. How you doing, my love? Is anybody surprised by the fallout with Amelia and Toya? I mean, I'm not. Because Toya is very, I don't know, fickle, but also Amelia is very, like one of those friends that's like very I'm not going to say she's overbearing, but she is just very territorial. So she doesn't really have that much. She didn't have that much way to go when it came to her relationship with Toya. I knew that was bound to happen. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you that is coming over here and supporting me from my TikTok family. And my TikTok family is watching me from over here. Make sure that you guys are following the instructions of my moderators. They'll let you know what's going on. I wanted to do something different. I want them to see the review while I am live. Okay. So Nelia talks about the drama in between her and Toya. And I'm just like, why in the world is she talking to Quad out of all people? Quad is the last person that she wants to talk about her drama with. Why are you talking to that woman? That woman cannot stand Toya. So why are you going to her enemy to tell her about the problems? And you already know she's going to agree with you because she does not like Toya. So, child, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, so Dr. Simone is brought her husband to watch hello, hi. Thank you for all of you who's coming in. Dr. Simone shows a news report showing that Lisa, what is her name? Lisa Nicole. Oh, I'm sorry. Lisa Nicole had a lab that was supposed to do tests for COVID, and how they were pushing this COVID thing and to poor neighborhoods to get results, and they never gave the people their results. And so the problem is that Dr. Simone and Lisa have an event that's a very big, a voters event that they're going to be doing in a short period of time, is a town hall meeting. So it was like kind of like terrifying for her to be a part of some type of scandal in which, you know, it was saying that they are still under investigation. So she doesn't really understand what's going on. And she is worried because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, scandal could do one or two things. It can either bring you a lot or it could take away a lot. So, you know, being as though that it was a heightened time and it was during voting time. Child, somebody in the chat saying she is a scam. Lisa is a scam. But yes, I actually have to agree with that because she gets her explanation of why it was the way that it was. It did not make any sense once the ladies confronted her, which I will get to. I do not want to jump ahead. So The problem is Dr. Heavenly had warned Dr. Simone not to do business with Lisa. So when she found this out, Dr. Simone calls Dr. Heavenly. Now, you know, Dr. Heavenly will tell you how it is. No filter, no chaser. She does not care. She don't care how the way that you take it, even though she sounds like she's about to have some type of quivering attack in her voice. I guess that's how the way that she speaks. And she sounds like she could be auntie from down in the hood. I don't know, but Dr. Heavenly warned her about Lisa, and sure enough, Lisa is is under investigation for this fraudulent claim that she could do COVID testing and her lab can do COVID testing. But anyway, Dr. Simone calls Dr. Heavenly and tells her. Dr. Heavenly gets on the phone with her, says she's doing something. She calls Dr. Heavenly and Quad and tells them about what was said. Dr. Contessa was talking to her life coach, and her husband came in during the conversation while she was in the kitchen in her home. Now, my whole thing with her husband, Dr. Scott, I don't really understand their relationship. I don't really understand the dynamics of their relationship. I mean, it's like 1 minute they're like on the same page, the next minute they're not. I think that them going into business and creating a practice together was the biggest mistake, because of how their relationship is just crumbling. I don't know why you'll go in partnership with somebody who you could barely live with, let alone you want to do business with him. Okay, I digress. So she's talking to her life coach, and her life coach was talking about certain things and certain triggers that she may have because of certain behaviors. Her husband walks in. He hears the part of the conversation. He's like, should I leave or should I come back? She was like, no, stay. And then he started interrupting the conversation. And I don't even know how to really describe I don't know, because like, she got upset because he kept like mumbling underneath his breath about certain things that the life coach was saying that was inaccurate. And it was just like, okay, well, you mean like you may not agree. Thank you so much, Raleigh. So I mean, my thing is this, like, if you are in a relationship and you're in a marriage and you already know that your husband triggers you, why would you encourage him to stay in the conversation that you're having with this life coach and he does not agree with therapy? He does not want to do therapy. He told you that he's not interested. He's announced it. But there's a plot to this, there's a twist in this plot because he done threw a monkey in the wrench during the argument, because it turned into a heated argument because she was saying, she didn't understand where the relationship was. He just came in from work. He's tired. He don't want to talk to her. Hi, Olive. Hi, everybody that is in here. Thank you to those who are watching me on YouTube and on my YouTube live. And please make sure that you guys are subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you are in my TikTok, make sure that you guys are making friends in this room, and you should be always doing that. Okay. All right. So, she was like, I don't know what you want. You keep telling people you don't want help. I went to a life coach because I feel like I want to work on our relationship. But if you don't want to work on our relationship, then we could just end this right now. Like, tell me what you want me to do. And he told her like, well, I'm seeing a therapist myself. She was like, he said that he's seen a therapist himself. But hold on, sir. Hold on. How are you now seeing a therapist for the past 7 months, and you have been claiming that your marriage does not need therapy? You do not need therapists. You are a doctor. You can figure it out. You don't want to sit and talk about your problems because you and your wife can figure it out. Well, clearly you and your wife is not figuring it out because y'all can't get along. Y'all can't even ease in on each other's conversation without getting into an uncomfortable argument. So how is it that all of a sudden you change your mind? You've been saying this since the episode 1 that you did not want therapy. You did not want to seek therapy for your marriage. You felt like it was a waste of time, that you and her can do the work. But evidently what you're doing is not working. It's not working. So all of a sudden now you got a therapist. And then he says that he hasn't paid his therapist. He's been seeing this therapist for the past 7 months, but haven't paid her. Sounds like a date to me. Sounds like a girlfriend to me. Sounds like a side piece to me. If you ask me, you sitting up there having conversations with people for 7 months. They're supposed to be a therapist and you're not paying them. Sounds like a side chick. That's what it sounds like to me. Because all of a sudden you've been seeing somebody for 7 months, ain't tell your wife, ain't have a conversation about it. As a matter of fact, the kind of face that you've been putting on is completely different from the face that you are talking, that you're now talking with your own mouth and your own words to your wife. That's not the energy that you were giving her this whole entire time. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're not making any sense. So he gets upset. He said he don't want to argue with her. He storms off. She's crying and she just wants to make it work. And it's just like, why did you decide to go in business with this man and you can't get along with him? I just can't wrap my brain around it. And plus, you already know that your husband has an issue with infidelity. So it's like you are sitting up here talking about needing help. You need to figure out who that woman is he's talking to for the past 7 months. They ain't pay her. First of all, to me, it sounds like a lie. It sounds like a lie, and it sounds like he just had something. He just wanted to say something in the meantime. But that's my opinion. Okay, so. Next up is the town hall meeting. The town hall meeting goes off with a hitch, despite the fact that we find that Lisa is into fraudulent activity. They were able to successfully do the town hall meeting. I felt like it was a success. They did a really good job, even though, it's during the time of COVID, and when COVID was very high, they were able to navigate with doing it with people there and also doing it through a Zoom or do it online. So it was cool that they were able to do both. So after the event, the ladies decided that they want to have a dinner, and at that dinner, of course, they're going to ask Lisa if she is under federal investigation, because they were afraid that the feds were going to come in during their town hall meeting and arrest her and ruin the whole entire thing, which is not something that is so far-fetched because of how the way that she's been, she made it to the news. She made it to the news for being a fraudulent business that gave out these tests. So for those of you who don't know who Lisa is a person that owns a lab. She's not a doctor, but she owns a lab that does testing. So when the women asked her and said, hey, you were on the news, we just want to know what happened. And she said, well, what happened was we were supposed to get the equipment and we didn't get it. So we had to, we did the test and then we sent it out to a different lab for it to be, sent out, and everything is backed up. But wait a second. You are a lab. Your business is you own a laboratory that runs tests. How are you going to conduct COVID tests, which is fraud, because you're not offering the services? You are actually outsourcing for something that you're supposed to be doing. Does that make any sense to anybody, ladies and gentlemen? Does it make sense? You are a lab that runs tests, and you are supposed to be running COVID tests, but you go to a third party for this COVID thing that you're doing for your city, and you got people still waiting for their tests. The equipment didn't come in time. Yeah, exactly. Shady. It didn't come in time. Oh, this is what happened. Listen, you are a lab. You're a lab that conducts tests. Why is it that you are not able to conduct the tests that you said that you were able to do? And why are you not telling people, especially if the state is paying you to do these COVID tests, that you are outsourcing? It screams fraudulent to me. It screams fraudulent. If I'm a doctor and I'm telling you I offer the services as a doctor, but when you come in my office, I send you to another doctor and bill you. What does that sound like to you? Fraud. Exactly. Anyway, To me, it sounds like fraud. Don't know if it's true, if not, if she actually is participating in fraudulent activities. That is not proven. I don't know if it's still under investigation. But the fact that Lisa has a lab that does tests and took these people in and promoted it to act as if she had their services on site when she actually went to a third party, to me screams fraudulent. Period. End of story. So the next thing. Okay, so she said she's not being investigated by the feds. It's a misunderstanding, and that everybody is backed up with COVID tests. Well, the problem that I have with you is that you push this test so hard in these communities. First of all, you pushed it in these communities, these disenfranchised communities that could have went somewhere else to get their COVID test done. Now they gotta wait. Now they gotta, they're waiting for you to get the results. It's already showing in the state that they already been tested. They can't go anywhere else because of the lack of testing. You just ruined a whole bunch of people. Like, you're not helping. You didn't help your community. You didn't help them. You didn't help them at all. What you did was inconvenience people and lied about the services that your business offered. That's what you did. Anyway, after that event, during that event, Dr. Simone calls Dr. Jackie and invites all of the women to go to Dr. Jekyll Island or Jekyll's Island for a girls' trip. It won't be any husbands. It will just be them. Now, they were saying that they don't want to bring any drama. There's no such thing as not bringing drama when you're a part of a reality franchise. There's no such thing. And while they're sitting at the table, they start talking about friendship and talking about not having drama. And then Toya made a comment about friendships and relationships and how she is not really good at assessing people as who she brings in her life as a friend. And Amelia got so bothered. And Dr. Simone saw how agitated Amelia was. She tried to calm her down, and then Amelia starts making a scene, and Dr. Simone is like, do not make a scene. This is not the place for you to make a scene. And she just kept making the scene and kept making the scene and kept making the scene. And she wanted to talk to her, and Dr. Simone was like, well, can you do that another time? Okay, can you do that another time? Do not do that here right now. You can talk to her privately. It's a private situation. Whatever y'all going through, y'all are friends. Deal with it on the outside. Do not come here with that. Of course, Amelia kept on going. Toya comes out, and Toya was like, oh, you want to talk to me? Oh, that's what you want? Okay. Toya attitude kills me, but it's so gangster. It's so gangster. Listen, she is so unbothered when somebody is bothered. And I think that she is bothered by what's going on, but she acts as if she's unbothered, which I find it funny. So she tells Amelia, we had a conversation before. We already squashed this. We already resolved this. Why are you still talking about it? Amelia was like, well, we after the conversation, you ain't talked to me. Well, of course she ain't talked to you because she ain't feel like talking to you. Even though you resolved the issue does not mean that your relationship and your friendship is going to be the same. Ladies and gentlemen, just because you resolve issues with your friends, if you have a falling out, that does not mean that tomorrow they're going to hook up with you again and be friends with you again and it'd be happy and jolly and a good time. That's not how it works. And that's where Toya was, because Amelia was going around with the new people and accusing them of trying to steal Toya away from her. Well, first of all, if you are a friend, nobody can steal your friend away from you. You can only build roadblocks for yourself. Nobody can take your friendship away from you. And if you feel like somebody can take your friendship, that's not the friend. That is something that is built on quicksand. That relationship is bound to end if you feel that insecure. I'm just saying. So she tells her, we resolved it already. I don't understand why you keep bringing this up. Why you bringing it to the ladies? Amelia gets mad. She storms off or whatever. So after Anelia storms off, I thought that they like I don't know if I was paying attention during the time where Quad and Toya was talking, but I thought that they were going to escalate because they would start arguing at first. Toya and Quad got into it because you know that Toya had said that Quad had lived in an apartment, but she never ever been to her home. She's never visited her home. She's never and Quad lives in a townhome. So the fact that she was saying that she lives in an apartment really offended Quad. And Quad was, talking about how she was barely able to move into her home, so she need not to talk about where people live. Oh, and that was another thing too that was said. Toya's home is 9,000 square feet, and apparently Anelia's home is 14,000 square feet. And allegedly, Toya is jealous of Anelia and the size of her house. Girl, stop it. I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe that you got over possessive and you didn't know how to stay in your lane, in that friendship lane, and allow other people to be friends with this person, and you ended up ruining that. I hate it when people come and try to act as if there is another underlying issue on why your friendship failed. No, your friendship failed because you were too controlling. She didn't like the fact that you kept overstepping your boundaries, and that's it. Why all of a sudden she's jealous of you, Anelia? She's not jealous of you. She's just tired of you. She's tired of you. She's tired of talking to you. She's tired of you being so clingy. And all of a sudden she's jealous of you? I think not. I think that she is happy with her home. And to be quite frank, her home is done and it's beautiful. Yours is not. Okay. So the women go and they go prepare for their road trip to Jackal's Island, and already it's just like a disaster waiting to happen. I'm like, the disaster that's going on. It's just the way this episode ended. It's just like it's just going to go downhill. So the women are waiting. Well, half of the women were waiting. The other women, they wanted to be picked up at their home. They were waiting for the driver to come with the RV. And long and behold, guess who's driving the RV? Lisa. Lisa is driving the bus, and they're just like, why are you driving the RV? She's driving the RV, and a lot of people just feel unsafe. They're just like, we can't trust her with anything, let alone her driving behind the wheel. We don't trust it. But they ended up getting inside the RV, and they went on the road, and then Doctor, like, they start talking about friendships again. They start talking about the breakdowns of friendships again. And Lisa Marie was talking about how she has a breakdown in her friendships. She doesn't really know how to have really good friendships with girlfriends, and she just has a lot of trust issues. And Dr. Heavenly was like, well, you got trust issues because you're a fraud. Wait a second, my thing is falling. She said, you got trust issues because you are a fraud. And nobody trusts you to be your friend. That you will steal from people and you're doing this and doing that. I'm like, Dr. Heavenly is so crazy. The conversation went from one extreme to the next. And she's like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, this was Lisa Marie saying she wasn't talking about that. She was just talking about her friendships. And Dr. Heavenly was like, well, nobody ain't going to trust nobody that steal from people, who commit fraud, who make the news. I mean, like, you do fake COVID tests. I was like, child. What does that got to do with anything, Dr. Heavenly? I don't know. Maybe it got everything to do with it, but it was like so random to bring that up. It's like, girl, do you want to argue with this girl? Like, you're looking for argument. It is. It is definitely a bad look. It's like, all right. She's like, ain't nobody gonna trust you. So Lisa Marie was like, get off my RV. Get out of my RV right now. Dr. Heavenly was like, oh, you think it ain't about nothing? It ain't about nothing. I can get Uber. It ain't about nothing. Get me off this RV. I was like, child. First of all, the ghetto. That's the first thing that came to my mind. The ghetto. The ghetto. You're going to kick her out on the highway. Now, I've done that before. I have kicked somebody out of my car and left them on the highway before. I have. I have. But I went back and picked them up. But I was in my feelings. I was mad. I did that when I was in my younger days. I was in my early 20s. They made me so mad. I told them, I pulled over to the side of the road. It was on 95. I told them to get out my car. They got out and just was in complete shock when I drove off. Yes, on the highway. My younger days, I was something to deal with. I tell you, something to deal with. I left people on the, I've done it to one person, and it was somebody that that I previously dated. He pissed me off so bad. He pissed me off. I told him to get out of my car. And I just left him on the highway. And it was at night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I don't care who comes in. I don't care if there's any coyotes out here, any wolves, lions, tigers, or bears. Oh my, you better deal with it. And at the time, we didn't have Uber. Let me put this water down. I'll drink it after I'm done because I'm almost done. I was something to deal with. So I left. So I understand kicking somebody out, but girl, it is COVID right now. Like, you gonna leave her on the highway? Unmasked? Hi, thank you for joining this live. Make sure that you guys are subscribing to my YouTube channel. Boy, I'll deal with that in a second. But yeah, left them. I've been that mad. So I've been there. I can't say that she was wrong for that, but that was a different time. This wasn't during a global crisis. I didn't kick him out of the car during a global crisis. I kicked him out of the car because he made me upset at the time. So, but she was like, get out of my RV. And Dr. Heavenly was like, it ain't about nothing. I'll get off this RV. It ain't about nothing. I would catch that Uber to... I said, child, the ghetto. The ghetto. But the episode ends and we're going to see what happens next week. I'm just like, this girls trip, this drama-free trip. Ain't nothing drama-free about this trip. I tell you that much. Anyway, we'll see what happens next week. They're supposed to go to Jackal's Island. I want to see if Dr. Simone actually does kick her out of the car in the highway during the global pandemic. In the middle of the height of COVID, the height of a global pandemic, are you going to really kick somebody out the car now? If it was a different situation, and if it was at this time that I was, with my, dealing with my situation, if it's my situation, It's a reality television show. It's Married to Medicine. For those of you who don't know who this is, Married to Medicine, it airs on Bravo. Make sure that you guys check it out. It only has 2 more episodes left. But yeah, I was just like, child, this is so ghetto. But I wouldn't do that during a global crisis. But like when I was mad at that time, I was just like, you gotta go. You gotta get out my car. I don't know where you're going, but get out my car. But we were arguing. I don't even remember what the argument was about, but he made me so mad. But like, you really gonna kick this doctor out during the global pandemic? That's another level. All right, you guys, thank you for watching my latest video, my latest recap on Married to Medicine Season 8, Episode 14. Hopefully, I will see you next week. Ciao to all of my YouTubers.